Howdy, friend. Welcome back to Logan versus the Hateful Strawberries. We're on Chapter 8, Fork in the Road. Logan was lost in a sea of tears when his father appeared at the buggy window. All right, son. Are you ready to tell me what's going on? Logan snuffled up his tears, completely unsure where to start. He wiped his eyes on his shoulder to buy a little more time to think. That kind of worked because Pa said, "Scoot on over. We're going for a ride." "What about Ma?" Logan blurted. "What about Ma?" Logan blurted out in surprise as he made room for Pa to get in the cab. Were they going to leave her to walk all the way home? What was Pa planning to do to him? Parsons giving her a ride home. Pa took his seat and pulled the door closed. "We thought it might be best if the two of us have a talk, man to man." "Man to man? What?" "Last night, Pa was treating him like a naughty little boy. What caused the change of heart?" Completely flummoxed by the change of tone, Logan sniffed up the last of his tears. "Okay." There was a long pause filled with the clip-clop of the horse's hooves and the creak of leather straps and wooden wagon wheels. Then Pa let out a big sigh. "If you heard the message today, you know that one of them fruits of the Spirit is love. Logan, my son, I love you." Those words overwhelmed Logan like being buried in a heavy down quilt on a cold winter's day. This conversation isn't going where he thought at all. "The hard part, son, is no matter how much I love you, sin is still sin." Pa continued in a hushed tone. "Lying, stealing, breaking other people's things, those are all sins. Sinning like that breaks God's heart, and given what you did yesterday, mine too." As quickly as Pa's kind words warmed his heart, realizing just how badly Logan had hurt Pa's feelings washed away in a flood of tears. "Pa, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. It's just..." Pa put the reins in one hand and placed his free hand on Logan's shoulder. "You got into something of the darkness out in the woods yesterday, didn't you?" Logan's eyes went wide at the question. "I found some strawberries that were in some darkness smoke. How did you know?" "I was talking to Aiden's dad. He said you boys had found something and that Aiden had left you to cut down a tree to destroy it." Pa raised an eyebrow as the tone he put into the last word turned a statement into a question. "Well, I started to cut it down and then a raccoon jumped out of the tree and clobbered me," Logan began. "Raccoon, huh?" Pa questioned. "Same raccoon that you had a tussle with in the barn, perhaps?" Logan hung his head. "Yeah, well..." Logan paused for a long moment, suddenly realizing how crazy the whole thing had been. But Pa just sat there silently directing the horse along their route. Logan took a deep breath. "The raccoon knocked me off the rise and into the strawberry patch. It landed there too and started eating some strawberries." "Mm-hmm," Pa nodded knowingly. "It seemed like it liked them, and I had a strawberry all over my hands. So I tried some, and it was good, Pa. Those big purple strawberries were so good." Logan's mouth watered at the memory of the sweet, sweet darkness strawberries. Except that's what they were, the fruit of the darkness. He could see it now. They made him feel good for a minute, but then deep inside, he got so hateful. "They tasted so good and made everything so sparkly and bright, and they're ginormous. I thought I'd bring them home for the fair, and well, rascal, he seemed out of place after I knocked him out of the tree, and he needed a home, so I brought him home with me." "I see," Pa responded. "So the raccoon and the strawberries. That's why your chores weren't done last night? What was the whole thing with the spyglass?" "Well, the strawberries make everything sparkly, so I wanted to see the stars with the spyglass," Logan explained, suddenly feeling better for getting everything off his chest. "Are you trying to say the strawberries made me do it?" Pa offered in a tone that gave Logan pause. For just a second, Logan thought maybe Pa was giving him an out, but then he realized that's not how Pa usually worked. He was always talking about responsibility this and responsibility that. "No, sir," Logan responded hesitantly. Then he added, "I did it." Logan gulped down the last part, seeing the fork in the road that took them home coming up. There were going to be some stern consequences, but he knew deep down Pa was fair, and whatever they were, it would be best if he just admitted the whole thing now and got it over with. Pa, the strawberries might have made it easier to do the wrong thing because things were so sparkly. But I did it. All the wrong things were my responsibility. Pa nodded wordlessly, then, to Logan's surprise, turned the buggy away from home and towards the woods. I'm glad you see it that way, Pa responded, because now it's time for you to be responsible and make it right. Pa patted the big wood chopping axe strapped behind the buggy's seat. Well, that's it for Chapter 8 from Logan versus the Hateful Strawberries.